Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quadar of GMS Gulf Coast. And I'd like to start by giving infinite honor and praise and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rekah Quadash. And double honors are given up to the apostle, elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. Also like to send a shalom to the bishops and the elders of Great Millstone, the heads of camps of Great Millstone, to Great Millstone by and large. Also, a shalom goes out to the NU Akim, not named Great Millstone, but walking one body, one spirit in Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching 100% truth, as well as calling on the names Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And last but not least, shalom goes out to the men, women, and children of the hopefully elect scattered throughout the four winds of planet Earth, north, south, east, and west, which have come back to the understanding of who they are and who their power is, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and have made taken the righteous steps to be guided by this truth. To you all, shalom. Let me see if my camera's still going. It's more or less, Lord willing, to be edifying. It's just going to be current events, just speaking on the current events, things that have happened in the past few years, all the way up into the present day. I was looking at a video with the Iranian president. You know, his plane, it's not plane, but his helicopter had crashed. Yes, his helicopter had crashed. I was checking it out, and I was like, these things seem to be out of place, but they're not. I say that because there's a power shift going on, and the powers that be, they're losing that. They're losing that power. They're losing that grip. They're losing that hold on power. I'm gonna grab this real quick, and you gotta tiptoe around what you say and do, because I had just started my video with an article, and they immediately cut my camera off. So it is what it is. Let me get to Job. Let me get Job. I'm gonna say it's Job 20:5. This is Job 20:5, 20 and verse 4, and it reads, it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. He's losing. This prophecy is coming to pass. That the little rulership has lasted maybe about, a half a day? Half a day in the eyes of the Lord, since they come up out them caves. It's been a short and wild run for them, but, they're at the end of that. And now they're trying to get everything in order, because truly in their minds, they think that their houses shall continue forever. We're going to grab that too. They think that their houses are going to continue forever. But like we just said, the triumphing of the wicked is but yet for a short time. This is Psalms 49:11, and it reads, "Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names." Yeah. So they have agendas, things that they have set in play, and they're looking to accomplish that. And anyone or anything, at that matter, that stands in their way, including these world leaders, is going to get dealt with swiftly. This is Revelations 12 and 12, straight to the point. And it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." Woe. I mean, bad times. Woe going to bad times. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. See that? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. That means all. You can include everyone in that statement right there. Woe. Bad times come to the inhabitants of the earth. And these world leaders are inhabitants of the earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. See that? But a short time. The joy of the hypocrite is short. It's short. And anybody, including these heads of states that don't fall in line with what the agendas that they have set forth by these organizations, these governmental organizations like the WEF, the WHO, you understand? The people who are actually pulling the purse strings, setting forth legislation, giving laws, bills, and amendments to these world leaders to push onto the people. If any of these leaders get out of line, get out of step, then it's going to be time to send them into the spirit realm. But check this out. This is Iranian president. Check this out. This helicopter crash. It was a couple hours ago. Over 142,000 some odd views on this so far.
And in world news, Iranian state media says a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and other government officials, they made a, quote, hard landing in the country's East Azerbaijan province. The crash happened about 14 hours ago in a forested mountainous region blanketed with heavy fog and rain. Iranian officials say the adverse weather conditions and nighttime are hampering rescue efforts.
Now I want to say something to that. The Iranian president, he has adverse, his views as far as the things that are happening on planet Earth being spearheaded by the United States and the powers that be that back the United States and their cronies. He's not on board with that. Now, if I go into articles and whatnot, they're gonna shut my camera off. Just call a spade a spade. So I'm not even gonna go into that because my feed gonna get cut. Be talking and running your mouth, and next thing you know. Anyway, though, if you would go and check the records, and you'll find that the Iranians are not on board with the Israelis, nor the Americans, nor the French, or the British. See what I'm saying? Or the Germans. In a nutshell, they're not on board with NATO. You follow? And we know that those countries that are allies with NATO, the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, they're backed by the U.S. Dollar, and the U.S. dollar is about to take a nosedive. It's fitting to be publicly broadcast that the U.S. dollar no longer has weight. So anybody who's going against the agenda of what NATO and its cronies have set forth, these little excursions are happening to them. Yeah, these things are happening to them. Let's go to this next video right here.
One of the questions I get asked all the time about the Orcam My Eye is, will it read computer?
so far.
Thanks, Jane. Well, these are the two men.
A major search operation is underway after a helicopter carrying Iran's president and its foreign minister crashed in the northwest of the country in thick fog. President Ibrahim Raisi had been returning from a visit to the border with neighboring Azerbaijan. Mass prayers are being said in Iran as the search continues. Our correspondent Caroline Hawley is here with what we know so far.
Thanks, Jane. Well, these are the two men missing after the crash. President Raisi on the left, the country's foreign minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian on the right. They've both been on a day trip today to Iran's border region with Azerbaijan, inaugurating a new dam project right here. We've got an image of him at the site of the dam and the helicopter he was travelling in. Now, a convoy of 3 helicopters is believed to have then travelled across Iranian territory. 2 returned back safely, but the one carrying the president and foreign minister crashed in mountainous territory.
2 returned safely. But it just so happened, the one that carrying the top man in the country, it didn't make it. These things happen, It's just, mechanical failure, but it just happened to be, allegedly. It just happens to be the 2 men that head the state. What a coincidence. Now, I'm being facetious and cynical. You understand what I'm saying? There's no such thing as coincidences. You know what I'm talking about? When you in this truth, you understand everything is the will of the Lord, And coincidences and being unlucky are just words or cover words to take away the works of the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? That's all that is. But anyway, let's let it play.
In heavy fog in the Jolfa region on the border, all contact with it was then lost. You can see how bad conditions were in the area as the rescue operation was underway. A fleet of ambulances on standby. The army is reported to have ordered all resources needed to be thrown at the search. Members of Iran's Red Crescent scoured the rugged landscape on foot for any sign of the missing helicopter. But poor visibility made it difficult for the rescue teams to reach the scene of the crash, even to locate it.
There are currently 3 drone teams in the area, but due to the thick fog and low visibility, the drones were not able to successfully operate. There are also 3 teams with rescue dogs in the area. We are searching and we hope we'll be able to reach positive results very soon.
The first indication that something had gone wrong came on state-run television.
There are unconfirmed reports of an incident involving the helicopter carrying the president in the Jolfa.
Now, I want to say something real quick. If I'm not mistaken, and if I'm wrong, I will correct it. There is no Federal Reserve in Irania. There's no Federal Reserve in North Korea. I think it's 3 different countries. But I think Iran, North Korea, and I can't think of the third, where there's no Federal Reserve Bank. So these things are just going to happen, because these holdouts, what I'm talking about, these heads of states, these countries that are holding out and trying to put a halt to the agenda of the elites, they're not going to stand in the way. But as we read the scripture, anyway, let's let this play.
Region. Initial reports cite a hard landing for the helicopter carrying the president.
President Raisi, seen here earlier with his counterpart from Azerbaijan, is a hardliner, number 2 to the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the ultimate authority in Iran. Also missing is Iran's foreign minister, a familiar figure on the international stage. He'd been involved in many negotiations, including over the country's nuclear program. Regime supporters came out to pray for the president, these images broadcast on state-run TV. Though not everyone in Iran is praying for his survival, the regime is not popular with many Iranians who'd like to see an end to the Islamic Republic. But from its most senior leader, a message of calm, of continuity.
hope that God will return the president and fellow travelers to the people. The Iranian nation must not be worried, and rest assured there will be no disruption to running of the country.
Late at night, there's still no news of the fate of the president and his foreign minister. Several Arab countries have offered assistance. Turkey has sent a mountain rescue team, and the EU will help with a satellite mapping service at the request of Tehran. The world is watching closely what happens next in Iran.
And so, Caroline, tonight, as we await further news, how significant is all of this internationally?
Well, the world is watching closely because Iran is such a pivotal country in the Middle East, and it's such a turbulent time at the moment with the war in Gaza and all the spillover of that. So what happens in Iran matters to the world. Now, under the constitution, if the president were not to survive, there is a process. The first vice president would step in. There would be elections within, I think it's 50 days, maybe a bit longer. Now, he's a conservative, so you wouldn't expect any dramatic change of policy. But President Raisi has been a key and controversial figure in Iran for many decades. He was tipped to be successor to the supreme leader, who is the ultimate authority in Iran. That supreme leader is now 85 years old. So it's a time of great challenge for Iran, both inside the country and abroad. Challenges, for example, the protests that you may remember over dress codes in Iran. So it is really an extraordinary moment for the country, and many people in the region will be watching closely to see how things unfold at a time of such great turmoil.
Caroline, all right, thank you for now. Caroline Hawley.
Disputes over dress code, they want to keep everything conservative. They want to keep it like it was, you know what I'm talking about? And that's just not going to fly with what they're trying to do. Okay, let's go to this one real quick. Y'all remember the guy over in Slovakia, the prime minister, the attempt on him? These coincidences, these things are just bad timing. There go to what's your name, camera gone. Oh, it's not gone. It's lucky. I didn't see it. Let's get back to the video. All right. So let's go to this other clip. What? Okay. Here we go. Check this out. Timing, bad timing. These things are happening to these leaders, man. It's just, just a coincidence, I guess. But let's check this out. This is current events, recent news.
The number. In the day's other news, the U.S. Supreme Court is ordering Louisiana to hold congressional elections this year using a House map with a second mostly black district. That's despite a lower court ruling that called the map illegal based on racial gerrymandering. About a third of the state is black, and the ruling is seen as helping Democrats' chances of gaining control of the closely divided House if it's not challenged by further appeals or another court decision. Slovakia's prime minister was shot multiple times today in an assassination attempt that has shocked his country and the region. Robert Fico had been attending a meeting of his government before the shooting. A 71-year-old suspect is now in custody. The country's interior minister said the attack was politically motivated, and Slovakia's president expressed her outrage.
Som šokovaná. Všetci sme šokovaní.
I'm shocked. We are all shocked by the terrible and vicious attack on Prime Minister Robert Fico. A physical attack on the Prime Minister is first of all an attack on a person, but it is also an attack on democracy.
Fico's anti-American position has made him a divisive figure both at home and abroad. He's called for an end to funding for Ukraine, which has worried European leaders ahead of regional elections in 3 weeks. The number of drug overdoses...
Anti-American. The Iranians had that same political outlook on America and its cronies. That wasn't mentioned in that report. But this Ukraine-Russia thing, it's so popular and it's so, it's so out there in front your face. It's been on the headlines of world news since it crunk up a year and a half ago. So it's kind of hard to hold those facts. But when you get into the Iranians, the quote-unquote Middle East relations, to my, a lot of that they don't let behind doors type of negotiations and backroom deals. They don't put that out front because you'll find that your favorite politicians over here in the West, or these Western politicians, they're all entangled in some type of scandal here or there, dealing with this Middle East. And it's all being spearheaded by those people that occupy the land of Israel. So they got to keep that kind of hush-hush. But yet still, helicopters falling out the sky, assassination attempts, I mean, man, these guys got to be careful, Let me remind you of another one. Check this out. This guy here. Let's go there real quick. Let's go. Check this out. Y'all remember this guy here? It's the price of doing business. I think it was in that New Jack City when that mobster made that comment about Nino Brown. He said he told one of his cronies. He said when Spanish dogs lay down with Greek dogs, he said they both wake up with fleas. Something to that. I might have ruined that little saying, that little line, but hey, you're going to get dirty when you're dealing with dirt, But this is all a fulfillment of the Lord. This is Revelation 17:17, and it reads, for God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled. They're all guilty of crimes against the Israelites, against the Lord's people. Ammonites, the Japanese, the Iranians, the Ishmaelites. Esau, Edom, top of the list, so-called white man, you know what I'm talking about? All guilty. And it's all a part of the Lord's will. So when you see these things happening, you know what I'm talking about, it's righteously so. Judgment goes out every day, the Lord says. Let's get that real quick. And mainly for the house of Israel. Judgment goes out every day. Let's see it, man. Yeah, that's what I see. I can't start that. All right, let me see if I find it real quick. Let's see. Let me see. 3 and 8. I think it's 3 and 8. This is Zephaniah 3 and 5, and it reads, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He's in the midst of all of this. He's controlling these clowns. You understand what I'm saying? According to Proverbs, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. Let me grab that first. Proverbs 21 and 1. And it reads, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Now, let's go back to Zephaniah 3 and 5, and it reads, the just Lord, this is Zephaniah 3 and 5, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He's in the midst of all this, you know. He will not do iniquity. The Lord don't sin. Nope, the Lord don't sin. Every morning doeth he bring his judgments to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So, you know, hey, this is the will of the Lord. Let's grab one more, shall we? Let's see. Let's see. Got to be careful here. Guys should be careful here. They sitting there with their hand on the cancel button. We're going to close that. No evidence. 5 leaders were off by opposing CV Axel. You see it. Hey, and with that, hey, I'm going to close out. Lord willing, has been edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the Apostle Elder Great Millstone. Shalom.